Good afternoon, Success class. This is your social studies reading from pages 212 through 227. Greek beliefs. You have learned that ancient Greeks formed city-states. These are independent states made up of a city and the land that surrounds it. Although city-states separated Greece politically, the Greek people were united by a common culture. They spoke the Greek language. They shared many beliefs and customs. The Greek people also believed many of the same myths or traditional stories about gods and heroes. Greek myths express the religious beliefs of the ancient Greeks. Who were the Greek gods? Like other people of the ancient world, the Greeks believed in gods and goddesses. The Greeks, however, did not think of their gods as all-powerful beings. In Greek myths, the gods have great powers, but they look and act like human beings. In Greek mythology, they marry and have children. At times, they act like children playing tricks on each other. Because the gods showed human qualities, the Greek people did not fear them. Greeks believed that the 12 most important gods and goddesses lived on Mount Olympus, Greece's highest mountain. A gate of clouds protected Olympus. The gods could come and go as they pleased, but humans were stopped from entering through the gate of clouds. Zeus was the king of the Olympian gods, while Athena was the goddess of wisdom and crafts. Apollo was worshipped as the god of the sun and poetry. People looked up to Aphrodite, the goddess of love. The two fierce gods were Ares, the god of war, and Poseidon, the god of the seas and earthquakes. All Greeks worshipped Zeus as their chief god. Each city-state also chose one god or goddess as its protector. To win the favor of their god, the people of the city-state performed rituals in an action that is part of a religious ceremony. The people worshiped the god in temples and at home. They prayed and offered gifts to the god. Through these rituals, the Greeks hoped the god would reward them. Festivals honoring the gods and goddesses were an important part of Greek life. Each city-state scheduled public feasts and sacrifices. Every 4 years, Greek athletes took part in athletic competitions. These games were for the greater glory of Zeus. They were held at the city of Olympia and were called the Olympic Games. Beginning in 776 BC, the ancient Olympic Games took place for more than 1,000 years. The first modern Olympics were held in Athens in 1896. The Greeks believed their gods would be pleased if people showed skill in the arts, in athletic games, or in thinking. Greek oracles. The Greeks believed that each person had a fate or destiny. Certain events were going to happen no matter what they did. They also believed in prophecy or a prediction about the future. The Greeks believed that the gods gave prophecies to warn people about the future in time to change it. To find out about the future, many Greeks visited an oracle. This was a sacred shrine where the priest or priestess spoke for a god. The most famous was the oracle at the temple of Apollo at Delphi. The oracle chamber was deep inside the temple. The room had an opening in the floor where volcanic smoke hissed from a crack in the earth. A priestess sat on a stool and listened to questions. The priests translated her answers. State leaders or their messengers traveled to Delphi to ask advice from the oracle of Apollo. Epics and fables. Here's the guiding question. Why were epics and fables important to ancient Greece? Greek poems and stories were some of the oldest literature in Western civilization. For hundreds of years, Europeans and Americans used Greek works as models for writing their own literature. England's William Shakespeare is an example. He borrowed Greek plots and settings for as many dramas excuse me, my contact decides to act up now, like really. He borrowed Greek plots and settings for his many dramas. He also organized his plays similarly to the way Greeks' dramas were organized. The first Greek stories were epics. Two great epics of ancient Greece were the Iliad and the Odyssey. The poet Homer composed them during the 700s BC. Homer based these epics on stories about a war between Greece and the city of Troy. Troy once existed in the era that is today northwestern Turkey. The Trojan Horse. In the Iliad, a prince of Troy falls in love with Helen, the wife of a Greek king, and kidnaps her. The kidnapping angers the Greeks, who attack Troy in revenge. The Greeks, however, cannot break through the thick walls surrounding the city. In order to get into the city, the Greeks trick the Trojans and construct a huge hollow wooden horse. The finest Greek soldiers hide inside the horse. All the other Greek soldiers board ships and sail away. The Trojans think they have won the war and that the horse is a victory prize from the Greeks. The Trojans roll the giant horse into the city. That night, the Greeks creep out of the horse and open the city gates. They allow the rest of the Greek army, who have sailed back to Troy after dark, to enter the city. The Greeks then capture the city, rescue Helen, and take her home. The Odyssey tells the story of